Today I'm here with Steve from BerkFamily54Comics. Steve, thanks for coming on today.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited to finally get on here and do this 7.5 questions.
Yeah, we've been trying for a couple weeks now to get this coordinated, and
we have.
You're a busy man.
We both are, for sure. For sure.
Well, I understand with your summers off, trying to squeeze as much in as you can.
Yeah, having a kid, there's always something to do.
So, well, unless you got any questions for me, let's roll into your first keyword for your half question.
Okay.
Your first keyword is tortoise, which is kind of like a turtle, but it's not, you know?
Okay. All right. I want to put it right there so I remember it for later. There we go.
All right.
All that right, but.
Question number one. How'd you come up with your IG handle and your profile icon? I mean, I know I've heard the story before just from being in the Berk family, but you know, tell it again for all the people out there who haven't heard it.
Okay, so the name of my Instagram and YouTube is BerkFamily54Comics. Previously, it was BerkNasty54Comics. I changed the name 2 years ago. It started off, honestly, with I had an eBay page in college. Well, back up. I had an eBay page. I couldn't get into it. So in college, I made another one. When I was trying to come up with a name for it, I was like, what do I name it? Well, in college, my wife would always call me, well, not my wife, just like my friends and my wife and everyone else. They'd call me Berk Nasty because I used to always say Sick Nasty, and part of my last name was Berkland. So that
was your catchphrase.
Yeah, so Berk Nasty. So I was like, I'll go with Berk Nasty 54, which 54 is my high school football number, my grandpa's high school football number, and also the year he graduated from high school. So the 54 was kind of like close to me because my grandpa and I were like best friends. We always went to K-State football games and basketball games together for like ever. So that's why it's a 54. So I went with Berk Nasty 54 as my eBay page. And then when I started collecting comic books in 2016, I was getting into it. I was like, okay, this is fun. But I don't have anyone to talk to. No one. So I get on Instagram and I would just look at other people's pages, right? And they'll have like a name for their page, whether it's John's Comics with Kids, Reggie Collects, whatever it is. 12 Cent Comics is another one, right? So I was coming up with a name and I was like, I feel like I should go with the same name for my eBay page so people can find me on both places. And it was mostly, like I said, I just wanted to connect with other people. So I went with Berk Nasty 54 Comics. And I only had an Instagram page for 6 to 8 months. And after then, I was like, you know what? Everyone is always posting about, go check my YouTube channel for this, go watch this video on this, on their Instagram stories. And I went and watched some, and I was like, wow, this is a lot of fun. I watched Reggie Collects and Matt Thanatos, who at the time was doing comic book videos, and they had John's Comics with Kids on there a lot, and a whole bunch of other people. I watched all these videos, and I was like, okay, you know what? I know how to do this because I actually teach journalism at my school, so I know how to edit some videos, I know how to make some photos. You know, I'll just go in there, and I'll start making some videos. So I'm like, you know what? I got to go with the same name, right? I got to go with the same name, Berk Nasty 54 Comics. And I did that for a while, and then everyone was always like, stay nasty, #nasty. Like, saying all these names, and that's fine. Like, it was cool, you know? But then I started to get worried. I was like, you know what? I'm a teacher. That does not give off the best connotation. It gives off like a negative one. So I was like, what can I go with? Well, a lot of people would do like, for instance, Jim Boatwright. He has a YouTube channel. It's like Boatwright Family. And another one is like something family, whatever it is. And I was talking to JB from Discovery Bay. He goes, why don't you go with Berk Family 54 Comics instead of Berk Nasty 54 Comics? And I was like, wow, that is a great idea. And so what I did is I had the same logo. It was the exact same logo. All I changed was instead of it saying Berk Nasty 54 Comics, I changed it to just Berk Family 54 Comics. So the colors and the logo stayed the same. I just changed the name. I went with purple and white because I'm a K-State grad, 2-time K-State grad. So that's where I got the purple and white from because those are our main colors. So I was like, I'm going to go with K-State colors for my YouTube channel, and that's how we got the name BerkFamily54Comics.
Did you ever consider anything else other than, Berk Nasty? You said was the first one you came up with for IG. I mean, were there other options before you went with Berk Nasty, or that just kind of what it was?
I thought about BerkFamily54Comics or Berk Comics, or I was like, I got to come up with something a little catchier than that. I got to come up with something. Like I said, I was trying to come up with what the name of it was, and I was like, the perfect way is to have it match the eBay page. Which my first year or two collecting comic books, I actually sold a lot on eBay. Like I was one of those people to watch Comic Tom's videos. It's the hot comics of the week. I'd go buy those. I'd go sell those, flip them. Like I actually remember buying a Dark Avengers 1 through 4 for $1 each because it was on the list, and then I sold it for like $15. And I was like, wow, I did really good. Now a Dark Avengers #1 by itself sells for $50. So I wish I would have kept that. But I was one of those people that like bought and sold a lot of comic books to help fund the hobby. And I don't really sell that many comic books anymore. But like I said, since I was selling so much, I wanted the name to match the eBay page. And so I did the Instagram first and then started YouTube, and that was the name I went with. And then I changed it to Berk Family 2 years ago, and it's been great since then.
Yeah, and that's all I've ever known has been the Berk Family, other than watching some of your old school videos where you still chime in as Berk Nasty.
Yeah, so first couple of videos were all done from my kitchen because I didn't have I just had like 1 or 2 boxes, and so I just put it in my bedroom, and I wasn't making videos, so I didn't need an office. So like the office I use now is just kind of like a storage room for old toys, like stuff for my daughter, which if you have a kid, you have a lot of stuff. And you don't know what you're going to keep versus what you're going to get rid of because you don't know how many kids you're going to have. Right now we only have 1. So it's been good. It's been good. I changed it from a storage room to my office, and it's been great.
All right. Let's roll on. Question 2. What was the first comic you remember reading as a kid?
Yeah, that's a great question. So my mom used to always take me to this grocery store in Manhattan, Kansas, and it was Food for Less. People in the Midwest may have heard of it before, but they don't do it. I don't think they sell stuff anymore. Anyways, they had a whole magazine and comic book aisle, because you go to any grocery store at the time in the 90s, and they had comic books, magazines, everything, like the whole aisle of it, right? So while she was shopping,
or at least a spinner rack.
Yeah. So we'd go there. My mom would get food. I'd go sit down. I'd read them. I'm sure I wouldn't actually read them. I'm sure I would just look at the pictures. So the very first book I ever remember reading or looking at the pictures for was Batman 497, The Breaking of the Bat. That is where Bane breaks Batman's back, which actually occurred again in the Dark Knight Rises movie, which was really cool to see because obviously, like I said, that's the first book I remember reading as a kid, and to see it on a big screen was really cool. But that was the first book I remember reading, and then after that, like every time I went, Azrael, who took over as Batman, had that really, really colorful suit with like the Shredder armor on it, and it was really cool. So the very first book was Batman 497, and I always look at Batman and TMNT books every time I went there. And I actually, watching the TMNT show and seeing the Batman animated show and Power Rangers, it caused me to get into Taekwondo, which I did Taekwondo for a year or two. And then down the same like shopping center from them was another comic book store. And I'd always go in there and I'd want something. My parents would always say no. Like I'd always look at the books. I'd always have to put them back. Because at the time, like they weren't really bagged and boarded. So like you could just pick them up and just read them and then put them back. And my mom never wanted to buy them for me because she's like, I'm not spending $2 or $3 on that. That's stupid, But yeah, Batman 497 to answer your question.
Well, back then they were probably only $1 or $1.25.
Yeah, sounds right.
Do you still have that issue?
No, so we didn't buy it. We didn't even buy it.
So you just leaf through it in the store is all.
Yeah, so every single time I'd go sit down, I'd read through the whole thing, and then I would put it back, and then I'd go find my mom when it was time to go. Every single time when we went to the grocery store when I was young. Never bought any. Because I already knew if I asked to buy it, she'd say no. Just like with my kid, whenever we go to the store, she wants to buy a new toy, I have to say no. But sometimes I do buy her stuff. But like, I don't know. I would never. I didn't own a single comic book as a kid. Or if I did, it was all like trash that they gave me from the store down the the same shopping center from Taekwondo. So
I'm assuming you have that issue now.
I do. I used to have it in a CGC 9.6. I'm going to get one. I sold it because I want a 9.8 at some point, and preferably a newsstand 9.8 of that book. But I do have a raw copy because I'm trying to complete a Batman issues 100 through current run, and I definitely have that book in the collection.
So then what was the first book you remember buying?
So the first book I remember buying when I started collecting in January of 2016. So I was actually at work, which at the time I was working for my parents at Ace Hardware. I was in my office because I was a manager. I was supposed to be doing work, and obviously I wasn't. I was on Yahoo.com, and on there, like, it shows up all these different stories and different things. And it was talking about how this new Power Rangers book is coming out in a couple months, and it showed the covers for them for issue 0, which I'll show off in a little bit. And I was like, holy cow, they're doing a Power Rangers comic book? Those covers look amazing. Right below that, they had a review of Batman TMNT Volume 1, issue number 2 that had just come out, because they actually did 3 different volumes of the crossover, 6 issues each, and number 2 had just came out in January. And it was talking about how well the story was doing. It was actually written by James Tynion IV, who's now doing Batman, Department of Truth, Something is Killing Children. He wrote that. And
he's doing everything now.
Yeah, so he did all 3 volumes of it, but he wrote that, and it was illustrated by Freddie E. Williams, who's actually a Kansas guy. Anyways, I remember seeing that, and I was like, okay, during my lunch break today, I'm going to the comic book store. So I went, during my lunch break, I went over and I bought issue 2 of Batman TMNT, and then I bought 2 covers, a Black Ranger and Red Ranger cover for issue 0 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. When I got back to work, I ordered issue number 1 of Batman TMNT so I could read that first before issue 2. So the very first book I remember reading was actually the Black Ranger variant for issue number 0 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That's the first one I bought that I read.
So from the time you read Batman 497 until you got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 0 was how long?
20 years? 25
wow.
years? Whenever Batman 497.
That was 93 with 497.
Yeah, and so I started collecting in 2011, so 27 years, 28 years. So like I said, I didn't probably read it as a kid. I just looked at the pictures because I was only like 5.
All right. That's a long drought.
It is. It is. I did sports growing up. I did every single sport. I did Taekwondo. I was involved in a lot of stuff. I did 4-H as a kid, and so didn't really have time for the comic books. I just like to look at them and look at the pictures when I was at the grocery store as a kid.
All right. Ready for your second keyword?
Sure.
Second keyword is pink. So you've got tortoise and pink.
Okay. Sounds good. So I got to make a sentence with this when I'm done, right?
You got to ask yourself a question.
Got to ask myself a question with the words. Okay.
You obviously did your homework well for this interview.
Yeah, well, I read all the questions. And I remember seeing it on there. But I read that like a week or 2 ago, but when we were going to do it the first time. So I'm ready. I'm ready to go now. All
right. All right. Question 3. When it comes to your PC, what's your favorite age, genre, publisher, and title?
Okay, so there's 2 different ways to look at that. So in terms of collecting, I think the best age and genre, the genre and character is going to be the same. It's going to be DC and it's going to be Batman. But in terms of collecting, I'm going to say Silver Age because there's a ton of Silver Age Batman keys. In terms of what I like to read, I'm just going to say modern Batman. But I like all DC, like anything DC. Genre, superhero. I didn't say that earlier. Superhero genre for sure. I like all DC. Like my top 5 characters, 4 to the 5 are DC. characters. I like Batman, the Green Power Ranger, Nightwing, and then Wally West. So, and then Barry Allen too, and then Shazam. So those are all my favorite characters I just listed off, and then Ninja Turtles too. But I would definitely say superheroes, and then I'd say Silver Age in terms of collecting, because there's a bunch of Silver Age Batman keys, and they're worth a lot going forward. In fact, I'm trying to collect all those, like I said. And I love reading Batman. I love reading DC. I love reading superheroes. And so I like to read the modern stuff, because the modern stuff is way easier to actually read and follow, because they talk like how we talk nowadays versus Silver Age. That's like 50, 60 years ago. So it's a little bit harder to follow, though some of them aren't that bad. Some of them aren't that bad from the 60s, but they're still not, they're not like how they are today. Like if you read a Silver Age book, it might take you 20 or 30 minutes to read it. If you read a modern book, like nowadays, 22 pages, I mean, depending on the book and how wordy it is, it could take you 5 minutes. It could take you, it doesn't take you 20 or 30 minutes like it does in the Silver Age. So,
yeah, I've definitely noticed that. And then you step back to the Golden Age books, and it's a whole nother story there too.
See, I don't have any Golden Age books. At some point, I would love to get some. Like my Grail is a Detective Comics 27. So obviously, like Batman. So First Appearance of Batman would be my all-time Grail. So obviously, that's Golden Age. And so at some point, I would love to get some Golden Age books. Never going to be able to get that, but it would be cool if I could.
So if you could only read one age, for the rest of your life, would it be modern books is what you'd read?
Yeah, I would read modern books. Probably more like 5 to 10 years ago, though, because I feel like the stories now aren't as good as they were 5 to 10 years ago. Like the Batman Court of Owls story in the New 52 is one of the best stories ever written, for sure. The first 9 to 10 issues of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was exceptional. But even if you go back to like the 80s, like the Batman Year One is the best, in my opinion, the best Batman story ever written by Frank Miller. If I could only read one story the rest of my life, it'd be those 4 issues, 404 through 407, Batman Year One, Frank Miller goodness. It's the best story ever written. I would definitely read that every single time if I'm on a deserted island by myself.
All right. You got any books to show off yet? Anything that goes along?
Yeah, I got some books to show off.
All right, let's see them.
Okay. So this is one of my favorite stories of all time. Of course, it's a Batman. Of course, it's a Batman book. High grade. I used to have one of these. I sold it, and I had to have another one because I was mad at myself that I had to sell it. So I bought another one. I got lucky off eBay. Bought it raw for $33. Didn't even need it pressed. CGC came back in 9.8. This is Batman: The Killing Joke, 9.8.
Nice, yeah.
Right. This is where the Joker cripples Barbara Gordon. Barbara Gordon is kind of a hot character right now with the whole Batgirl movie coming to HBO Max, and also being in season 3 of the Titans show. And just in general, like Batgirl is a great character. So outside of Detective Comics 359, this is definitely one of the other ones to get for Batgirl. So I have this one. Love that book. So one of the first ones I got graded too. Okay, I got some other good stuff here. I have 7 slabs, so I'm sure you guys can see the ones on my wall.
Hey, you said that was the first book you got graded. Was that Killing Joke?
One of the first ones I got graded, yeah. So at one point I had like 7 slabs, and I sold them all. And one of the first slabs was that one. And then when I started slabbing books again when I didn't have any, that was one of the first ones that I slabbed. So actually, it was one of the first 4 that I got slabbed. This next one is a Silver Age key. I love me some DC goodness, and this has my boy Wally West in it, and it's a first team appearance. We got the Brave and the Bold 54, the first appearance of the Teen Titans, and a 4.0, which for Silver Age, I like low to mid grade because they're entry level grades. You're still getting a big first appearance in it, and it still presents nicely. For 4.0, the colors pop on this cover. Like I've seen worse covers for this book in higher grade, but I like this cover because it doesn't have any fading on it. Obviously, the side of it's not the spine is not very good and the back's not very good. But I love me some Teen Titans. I love the Titans TV show. I love Wally West. I love this book.
Now, did you have that pressed before you got it graded?
I actually bought this one graded. So this one I bought graded. Had to sell some books, including this one. Was able to buy it back, thankfully, from Big Will Comics. He's on YouTube and Instagram as well. He sold it back to me at the same price that I bought it from him, which I appreciate because he already had another copy, but he bought it at a low price for me, and I was able to buy it back from him, and I'm super happy about that. What's cool is that it's got the Superman. It says Superman up here. Then it also says National Comics on it, and then DC in the middle. So that's pretty cool. Okay. So we got a Silver Age key. We got a Batman key. We got some more Batman stuff coming up. I don't want to show them all. This is one of my favorite books of my collection. Like all of these are that I'm showing off are some of my favorites of my collection. This particular one, I tried to get for years. Like years. When it first came out, couldn't get it because it was too expensive. Then I finally, like a year or two later, I finally bought one, and it wasn't the right grade, so I sold it. Bought one that was the right grade. My daughter's about to come here.
We need you.
For what?
The zip ran outside.
Okay, well, you're going to have to wait, okay?
No, we can't.
This is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue number 0, the 1 of 50 Green Ranger. So it's a ratio variant. It's a Green Ranger who it's everyone's favorite. It's my favorite too. So it took me years to get this, but I got this one and the White Ranger, and I both sent them off to CGC, and they both came back 9.8. So I don't have the White Ranger with me. It's in the box over there, but it's the White Ranger is a 1 of 100. So next book up is a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers TMNT number 1, second print, 1 of 10, and a 9.8. Aria, come on.
We need you.
Okay, well, you have to wait. I'm sorry. My daughter's coming in here and telling me our cat ran outside and she needs my help finding him.
No, I don't need help finding him. I need help getting him out under a tree.
Well, just go do it yourself. Or ask Mom.
Yeah, Mom's leaving. Mom left.
Hold on one second. I'm sorry.
We can take an intermission if you need to go tend to the feline problem.
Give me 2 minutes. We'll cut it right here, and when I come back, you can splice it together. Give me a second.
No, I'm just going to talk shit about you while you're gone. So.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
That'll be more entertaining.
I'll be right back.
All right. I'm not going to say he wasn't prepared for this, but I don't think he did his homework. Oh. Wrong camera. Yeah. I'm going to take a little intermission myself here. I'll just leave these here for him to stare at when he comes back. Since he's such a Batman fan. I'm sure I'll find some word balloons I can throw up here in the interim. Did everyone like how he obviously had no clue what the keywords were about when I gave him the first one? Kind of had a deer in the headlight look going on.
I'm back. That is beautiful, man.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to have something for you to look at in the meantime.
I love it.
I ran to get myself a drink.
There you go. There you go.
Things I didn't even know I had until a few months ago. Let me rephrase that. Forgot I had.
That's awesome. I like it.
All right. So, where were we? You still got more books?
Yeah,
For
so
this question,
I'll talk about this book again. I apologize. My daughter came in. Our cat has.
Most importantly, did you find the cat?
Yes, I got the cat. Brought him home.
All right.
The cat has like a wound on his back leg, and so we don't want him outside, and so he went outside, and so I had to bring him back in. Anyways, I was talking about this book. This is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers TMNT #1, the second print, 1 of 10. Everyone knows I like the Green Ranger. This was a really, really great story. The Shredder is holding his helmet, which actually in issue #2, the Shredder becomes the Green Ranger Shredder. Love this cover. It's very, very rare, actually. So love this book. If you couldn't tell, obviously, like I said, I like the Green Ranger. And so I actually had my own variant for issue #4 of Mighty Morphin. So this actually has my logo on the back. I was able to work with the 616comics.com and Joel's Art Collectibles to get my logo on the back of this book. So obviously this has the Green Ranger on a cover, the new Green Ranger actually, and I was pretty excited to make this happen. So there's that book, and well, along with the other Green Ranger books that I showed up. We're down to Power Rangers. I got 3 more books, and 2 of them are Batman. This one is one that I recently got, and I'll talk about more later with one of your questions. This is Batman 232, the first appearance of Ra's al Ghul, and a 4.5. Love this cover. It just pops. You got a cover appearance. You got a first appearance in it. It's just awesome. And like I said, I like those mid-grade copies, you know? So this is definitely a book that I love. I just recently got. Sticking with Batman, this is one of my favorite books. I just watched Under the Red Hood. This is Batman 635 and a 9.6, signed by the artist Doug Mahnke. First appearance of Jason Todd as Red Hood. Love this cover. I'm good at the 9.6 grade. I was hoping it would be at least a 9.4, so it being a 9.6, I'm happy with. I don't know if it could ever be a 9.8. I think it's just about right at a 9.6, but maybe someday I'll try to crack it or send it to CGC and have them press it and regrade it. But I don't know. 9.6 is a pretty good grade. And then the last book that I wanted to show off, I got this book before the hype train happened. I got this for $45 shipped. The seller said it was in VG to fine. And I was looking at the pictures and I was like, it looks way better than very good and fine. And I got it off the Mercari app. And I got it in and it looked good and I had it pressed. And then I took it to a con and had it signed and sketched and then sent to CGC. This is Raphael #1, the first appearance of Casey Jones, signed by Kevin Eastman, one of the creators of TMNT, with the whole Casey Jones sketch right there. So, a 9.2. So I bought this for $45. There was recently a sale on eBay. Same book, same signature, same sketch, $1,500. So I'm not going to sell it regardless, but it's pretty cool to know that I put basically $100 into this with the signature and CGC in the book, and to have it basically be worth 15 times that, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to know. So
yeah, definitely a good ROI there.
Definitely a good return on investment there, for sure. So those are the books that I wanted to show. I have 1,500 others I could show, but I wanted to show off those. So.
All right. What about that one book that got away? Or have there been more than one that got away?
Sure. Okay, so I wanted to talk about a couple different stories of books that I Okay, first I want to talk about a book that I should have bought that I did not, and I was bidding on it on eBay before the whole hype. It was TMNT #1 third print, which is one of the books I'm trying to get this year. Which, if people don't know, that book is now like at a 9.8 for the third print. It's like a $5,000 book. Like it's the same price as an ASM 300 and a 9.8. Like it's up there, and it's only a third print. I could have bought one a couple years ago when I was bidding on it for like $250 for a 9.0 copy, 9.0 to 9.4, back in like 2019.
It was raw.
It was raw. It was raw. Yeah. But I mean, you cannot find you can't find a VG copy for $250 raw nowadays for a third print TMNT #1. So I really wish I would have pulled the trigger on that book. Back then, that was a lot of money for me to spend on a book. I mean, it still kind of is, but I mean, just in general, like I wish I would have bought that book. Obviously, I love the Ninja Turtles. They were my love before Power Rangers. So that was definitely a book that I wish I would have bought. If we're talking about books that got away, I have a ASM 361 in a newsstand. I used to have that in a 9.8, and when I needed money, I sold it. And then I sold it to Karate Kevin, and he gave me his 9.0 plus cash. I really wish I would have kept the 9.8 because at the time, a 9.8 was like $400. So he gave me $300 plus his 9.0, and I thought it was a good trade. You know, I needed money. My car died. We had to pay off bills before I could get my own car because I didn't have one. And I live an hour away from my job, so I really needed a good car. And so obviously, like, what's $300 nowadays, right? Like $300 isn't a big deal. But like, if I would have kept that book is like a $1,200 to $1,500 book. And not only was it a 9.8 newsstand, it was also signed, just like this one is, by Bagley. So, I mean, it's now like 4 times the price of what I sold it for, essentially. So I really, really wish I would not have sold that. Hindsight's always 20/20, right? And then one other book that I wanted to talk about was this book here that I mentioned earlier, Batman 232. So I bought this book on the Heritage Auctions app. I wasn't even looking for this. I was actually looking for another book, okay? And this came up, and the price was too good. So I bid on it, $320. Now this is creamed off-white pages in a 4.5. I was like, $320, that's not bad for this book. And then I saw the BP buyer's premium was $384. I'm like, okay, that's not bad. And then 2 days later, it hit me with the taxes and shipping, and it ended up being over $100 more than what I clicked on to bid. And what made it even worse, was there was a 5.5 I was looking at on eBay for $500. That's, I'm sure I could have put in a best offer because I was actually messaging the seller in IG. I could have put in a best offer for like $450, and they probably would have taken it, which would have only been like $15 more than I paid for this. I would definitely pay $15 to $20 more for a full grade bump. And then also, on top of all of that, the next day after I paid, a 5.5 went up on Heritage Auctions on the same app, but it was a buy it now for $10 more than I paid for this. There was 2 other 5.5s that I could have bought instead of this book. So I wish I would not have bought this book. I wish I would have bought the other ones. But what can you do? I guess all I could do was maybe sell this and try to buy those, but that's a lot of work. So I'll probably just keep this. But that's a little frustrating for me, for sure. So those are some buyer regrets and buyer remorse and seller's remorse stories for some of the books that got away.
So that's one that you wish would have gotten away.
Yeah, I wish I wouldn't have bought that. For sure. I wish I would have just bought the 5.5 off of eBay. For sure.
All right. You're ready for another keyword?
Sure.
Your third keyword is going to be plywood.
Whoa. All right. Okay.
Who's your favorite artist or artist? I mean, I know it's hard to pick just one.
I
But
think the easy answer is probably Jim Lee, right? Like he's one of the like most well-known artists of all time. He worked for Marvel, DC, Image. I mean, he's definitely one of the best artists of all time in terms of interior and covers, right? I love his art. If we're talking outside of just him, one of my favorite cover artists of all time, hands down, Clayton Crane. His art is tremendous. He's definitely one of my favorite cover artists ever. I've met him a couple times. Really, really, really nice guy. His cover art is insane. I have some at CGC right now, a whole bunch of other books I have raw signed by him. He's definitely one of my favorite cover artists. In terms of interior artists, I like two in particular. I really, really like Freddie E. Williams, who did the TMNT Batman, all 3 volumes, 1, 2, and 3. Like I said earlier, he was a Kansas guy in Kansas City. I love his ink wash that he does. It's really, really cool looking. And I also really, really like Brett Booth. He's another artist that he's worked for DC, and he's done the Titans Rebirth. He's done Flash before. Right now he's doing, I was just reading a book that he did. It's not Nightwing. I can't remember, but he's a really, really good artist. He's pretty expensive too. Like if you ask him to do a commission cover, like most well-known artists will be like 300 to 500. And then like most non-well will be 100 or less, or maybe 200 or less. He charges 8,500 for a commission cover. So he's pretty expensive. He knows as well. His art is really, really good though. If you see it in Titans or Flash or any of the other stuff he does, it's really good. Really, really good stuff. So those are definitely my favorite artists. Jim Lee, Clayton Crane, Freddie E. Williams, and Brett Booth are my favorite for sure.
And you said Booth is $8,500 for a commission?
Mm-hmm. Can you believe that?
I think I can get my house painted for that.
I mean, I love Brett Booth. Awesome, awesome guy. I wouldn't pay $8,500 for a commission cover. I just wouldn't.
That almost sounds like an I don't want to do it price.
It does kind of sound like it. It does kind of sound like
I don't want to do it, but if you'll give me $10,000, sure, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean that sounds about right. So, but I do love his art.
I mean, that's it, and obviously people pay it. I mean,
yeah,
that's amazing.
Another artist that I like.
I'm going to pay a little more attention to his artwork.
Yeah, I'll send you some stuff when we're done here. I really forgot what title he's working on right now, but it's something that I'm reading, so it must be good. And then one other artist I do want to mention was, a couple more. Francesco Mattina. He gives himself a bad name because he copies other people's stuff and changes it for himself. He also does it for his own covers. He'll like just pull up his stuff and just change it a little bit. Even with all of that bad going for him, I still really like his art. Francesco Mattina's art is amazing. Some really, really good digital art. And then I gotta plug Austin LeMay and then Cardboard Crazies and also Karate Kevin. Those are all 3 people in the comic book community that do art that is really, really good as well.
Definitely some good artists in the local community for sure. Absolutely. What about any actual local artists to you? Do you know of any? Have you found any?
Well, Scotty Young lives in Kansas. So Scotty Young and Freddie E. Williams are the only Kansas people I can think of. But in terms of just like people like Austin LeMay, Cardboard Crazies, Karate Kevin, there's
hometown artists.
There's the person I bought some books from that used to work at a comic book store here in town. He can do a little bit of art, but I don't know of any actual just like comic book artists in the area. So if you do art in the area, let me know. I'd love to see some of your stuff. My art teacher at the school that I work at is pretty good at art. And I actually had a student of hers and mine do a commission cover. I don't have it with me, but she did a really, really cool cover of Batman 612, but on an Action Comics 1000, and she just sketched it. And actually, I put it on Twitter, and I added Jim Lee because Jim Lee did the regular cover, and he messaged back that she did a great job. So she just graduated this past year. It was pretty cool.
So do you have any original artwork or prints or sketch covers or anything along that lines? Or
yeah, so I I have two that I wanted to show. So this one is one I got first. So like I mentioned, Karate Kevin Superpower Review here on YouTube. Good friend of mine. He does prints, or like he'll do a cover, or even on a thing here. I asked him to do Wally West, which is my favorite DC character outside of Batman, and with the new DC Rebirth suit. So he did this for me, and I think it was like $21 shipped.
Oh wow.
So I'm sure he can do others as well. He's done a ton of Venom. He's done a ton of Venom, a ton of Batman, a ton of Spider-Man, because those are the ones he likes the most. But he did this for me, and I thought that was really cool. And then Cardboard Crazies does full covers as well. And I had this one. I had him do my daughter basically morphing into the Pink Ranger for Go Power Rangers #1, which coincidentally is the first appearance of Matthew Cook, who becomes the new Green Ranger, or is revealed to be the new Green Ranger in Mighty Morphin. So it's got a couple key appearances here, and this is a really cool cover he did as well. So those are really the only art pieces I have. I do have another one from Karate Kevin. You can't see it. It's over there. He A-okay'd me. It's a Barry Allen, which is another Flash, or the main Flash, really. But I prefer his Wally West version, so that's why I wanted to show this one. So those are really the only original art. I do have two other things right here that I could show. I don't know who sent this to me. This is an A-OK from someone. There's a hashtag RAAOK.
Oh yeah, I remember when you opened that.
Yeah, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, TMNT. I don't know who sent it to me, but
yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in that.
There is a lot. Okay, if you think there's a lot of stuff going on in that, let me grab this other thing really quick. So this was, the one I'm about to show was an A-OK from B. Ramey, who's a great member in this community. This, he sent it to me without the frame, of course.
Oh, yeah, a little bit more going on there.
This is basically every Flash in every comic book ever, and on the TV shows and movies, all of it, and it is by James Rise or Rays. Pretty cool. He knows.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
It's pretty cool. So those are basically, and then I have behind me, you can see TMNT Power Rangers Clayton Crane prints. So that's essentially all the artwork that I have, really. All the other ones, I just have like prints from like Comic Tom boxes. So I'm not a huge
Comic Tom prints, yeah.
Yeah, you can see them right there. I'm not huge into OA, but they are cool. They're cool for sure. I got some coming soon. So
you do have some on the way
from Austin LeMay, yeah.
Oh,
the one I'm not going to say more about it. One he's talked about in the BerkFam chat, but then also the one that he's going to put in the Berk box for next month, which I can talk about, I guess. It is that Venom that he did. That's really, really cool. That's going to go in the Berk box for August for the family tier members. So,
right. It's a slippery slope once you start buying artwork.
I've heard.
It's an addiction.
I've heard.
By the time this airs, hopefully I have a couple more to show.
There you go. I would love to get some OA some, I don't know, like Power Rangers or TMNT or something like that, or Batman or Nightwing or something. I don't know. Any of those would be cool.
There's a lot out there. All you gotta do is look.
I know.
All right. What do you collect besides the comics? I mean, I see you've got some figures up there.
I'm glad you asked. I do collect some other things. I have some sports memorabilia. I'm not going to show that. No one cares about that. I have some cool.
Well, that's what I want to see.
Oh, you do? Okay. Well,
hell yeah.
I'll just show it really quick. So, this isn't a way. I have a whole bunch of K-State memorabilia because I'm a K-State fan, K-State grad.
Right.
Signed footballs, I have the Elite Eights thing from K-State basketball when we went to the Elite Eight. Just a whole bunch of stuff. So
Signed by anybody I'd know?
no.
No.
I mean, I have some rookie cards for some people you might know, like Jordy Nelson, Darren Sproles, Terrence Newman, Josh Freeman, Michael Beasley. I have all of their rookie cards.
So you collected sports cards when you were a kid?
I used to collect sports cards as a kid, and then I got some more when I was in college, but not really. Just K-State stuff. I have like 8 over there. And that's it.
So you haven't really dabbled in the cards in a while then, since college?
No, but my brother-in-law has, and he's got some pretty sick cards for sure. He actually just looked at it not that long ago when like the card market was going crazy. He's like, okay, let me pull out all these, and he's got thousands, and he's got a whole bunch of ones that are worth a lot of money. But he's not going to sell them because he's like, you know what, they're worth a lot now, but what about 30 years from now? You know what I mean? So outside of sports memorabilia, I have some Power Rangers stuff. So I got a Morpher. It's got all the main 5. I don't have the Green Ranger or White Ranger coin, the power coin, but I got the main 5. Morpher, I got the Megazord. I got every single Lightning figure, action figure. And then I have the Legacy figure here. Here's another Lightning collection one of the Ranger Slayer. I got the whole team here. I try to grab them all.
Now, do you have the original boxes for all these?
I do. They are.
I don't know anything about them. Do they like come in blister packs where you had to?
They're right next to the boxes right there.
So these are things you didn't have to destroy the box to get them out of.
No, but I actually let my daughter open one, and she kind of destroyed this one side of it getting it out. So I said, no more. I have to take them all out. But yeah, so I have them all, and then as you can see behind me, I have some TNT NECA figures, which I wanted to get forever. The full set from the 1990 movie. You could have bought them from Walmart or from GameStop for $50 for a 2-pack, or $25 individually, but they go for way more on eBay. Luckily, I was able to get all 4 turtles for less than $150, so I was pretty happy about that. And then I also have the NECA Casey Jones and Raph 2-pack, which it goes perfectly with my Raphael #1 because it's the first appearance of Casey Jones, but on the cover is Raphael and Casey Jones. And what happens in the book is almost identical to what happens in the movie. So like it works perfectly that the movie figures right in front of the actual comic book because it's almost the same thing. So I do have some action figures. I have some sports memorabilia. But that's really it in terms of anything I collect outside of just comic books. I'm kind of into cars too, but I haven't put very much money into my car because I've been just doing more comic book stuff.
Now, what are you saying about the car?
I am into cars as well. I haven't done much to my car like at all, but I am into cars. Like my last car before the one that died. Before that, I had a 350Z and I did like everything to it. Lowered it, rims, exhaust, upgraded manifold, intake. I did like everything to it.
So like Tokyo Drift shit, you mean?
Yes. I do prefer JDM cars over American cars. I just do. So my current car is a 2015 Subaru WRX, and all I've done to it is just it's not even worth mentioning. I have a front lip, and I got something on the top of it, and I tinted windows. That's basically it. I would like to do more stuff to it, but at the same time, I like to put money into things that go up in value, like comic books. So it's like whenever I need new tires, that's when I'll upgrade the rims. I'll get
right.
new tires. So that'll probably be in the next year, and then that'll probably be the only thing I really do to it, just because the rims do make it look nicer. So
you're not going to put a neon kit on it or anything like that.
I had a neon kit on my car when I was in high school because that was when it was all the craze during Fast and Furious #1, and then I wrecked that car. So, but it was cool. That was back when it was like the lights on your car were like tubes instead of just like a rope light. Now,
yeah.
Nowadays they made it way more efficient, way better. Like if you hit it, it's fine. versus then.
And a lot cheaper.
And it's a lot cheaper. Yeah. And back then, the tubes, if you hit it, it's broken. Then you got to replace the whole thing. And it's expensive. But nowadays, it's way better. But I did have some green lights underneath my 1993 green Mercury Cougar. I thought that was cool.
Yep. I remember those days.
Oh, yeah.
I was more the stereo system guy, but
my brother, my stepbrother had all the stereo stuff, and he had the lowered. He spent way too much money on cars. Like the amount of money I spent on my 350Z pales in comparison to what he did to his cars, and he wrecked like every one of them, because he was racing it all the time. But he made sure to put sound systems in every car. Pretty sure it was the same sound system, so as soon as he wrecked one, he'd just take it out of that one and put it in the next one.
if it wasn't loud enough to crack the door jamb, then you needed to add more power.
There you go. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember him getting upset that I closed the door too rough. He's like, you got to baby that door in. And I'm like, oh boy. And then he was always into like the lowered trucks. So like as soon as we parked, then he'd hit his like hydraulic thing, and it would just lower the car so it was touching, or lower the truck so it was touching the ground. He was into that.
Yep, definitely money to be spent on that hobby.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right. Anything else you want to add before we get into our last question? Anything you think maybe you might have forgot to touch on? Anything you want to add a little more to, or on questions 1 through 6?
Well, I really, really like. Obviously, I like the Power Rangers. I like Ninja Turtles. I really like the Flash. In fact, I've seen every single episode of the Flash TV series on the CW. I think it's great. I think Grant Gustin as the Flash is great. I do prefer Wally West, but his take on Barry Allen has been very good. I do not like Ezra Miller as a Flash, but I'm excited about the Flash movie coming out with all the different Batman in it, with Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck. I mean, it's going to be a really good movie. I'm excited about that. So anything DC related, I really like. I like the Titans TV show. That's going to be fun. The Red Hood is going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't know. And I got some grails coming in the next week or so. I bought one off a website that just started sponsoring me, 9panel.com. That's where I bought a really, really big one that supposedly they're supposed to be shipping today. So I'm excited about that. Finally.
So this will air on the 7th of August.
So I should have it by then. I should have it by then. So should I say what it is then?
Entirely up to you. But this will air on the 7th.
It's a Flash 110.
Nice.
First appearance of Wally West. So I was laying in bed one night, just playing on my phone, about to go to sleep, and Adrian Pandawson 316 hit me with a link to 9panel.com with a Flash 110.
I remember you talking. I actually checked that site out after you were talking about it the other night.
Yeah. And so I was able to find a Flash 110 on there in about a lower mid grade for about half price of what it's going for on eBay or anywhere else. And so I was pretty ecstatic, hit buy right away. And it's a book that I've been wanting for 2 years now, a year and a half. First appearance of Wally West. Everyone knows Wally West is my favorite Flash, one of my favorite DC characters. So to finally get his first appearance, finally, I'm pretty excited about it. It's going to be raw, but I'm going to send it to CGC. Hopefully it comes back in a 3.0 to 4.0 range. Any grade it comes back, I'll just be happy to own it. So,
Are you going to press it or have CGC press it?
I'll probably send it to my presser, comicbook_pressing on IG. He's another sponsor of the channel. I don't know if he's going to press it actually or not, because I don't know if with it being that grade, I don't know if it really needs it because at that point, I mean, I feel like pressing is only really good for like anything 6.0 or 7.0 and higher. Try to get out any of those non-color breaking creases, but maybe it could help. So I might have him press it. We'll see. I don't know. I want to look at it first. So.
Yeah, I personally, I press everything unless it's too brittle, and pressing going to cause it to separate or cause problems.
Gotcha.
Can always get flatter.
Yeah, that's true. It could get flatter. That's right. So I probably will. I mean, It'll be free for me because he's my sponsor, so I might as well just try.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to. Well, by the time this airs, I've already seen it unboxed, but I can't wait to watch that video.
For sure.
Oh, all right. Well, your last keyword.
Let's see it.
All right, your last keyword is 3.
All
So
right.
you've got tortoise, pink, plywood, and 3. All right, so you don't have to come up with the question yet. You got a couple minutes because I've got one more to ask you.
Okay.
So give you a little stall time.
I can add words to this question, right?
Oh yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. You have seen my episodes, haven't you, Steve?
Yes, I have. Yes. I just wanted to make sure before I came up with my question.
All right, just checking. So my 7th question to you is, what do you do when you're not doing books and you're not teaching?
Well, I'm probably playing with my kid. We go swimming a lot. We dance to music a lot. We watch princess movies. So we do a lot of that. We ride bikes. She's 6.
Now, be honest. You're the one that wants to watch the princess movies, not her.
No. In fact, I've watched the same movies thousands of times. So we watch those. We do that stuff together. And then I also, I watch sports, like I said, big K-State fan, football and basketball. And then, which I'm pretty worried about with conference realignment right now. So I'm on Twitter a lot, checking Twitter a lot to see if there's any updates of conference realignment, see where K-State's going in terms of the Big 12. And then I watch Royals baseball a lot, Chiefs football every Sunday. We watch on our big screen at our house, and my brother-in-law comes over and watch that. But I'm definitely a bigger K-State fan. So probably watching sports, reading about sports, or hanging out with my family.
How old's your daughter?
6.5.
6.5.
So she's going to first grade.
Is she going to have the comic book bug like Dad?
I think so. Like, she likes the comic book shows, and like I buy her comic books. And I took her to the con this past weekend, and I did a video on it, and she bought a Batgirl doll, and she loves that. I bought her a necklace, and I bought her a bracelet and a comic book and like maybe one other thing. But she told me, she goes, Dad, when you die, can I get your comic books? Can I have your comic books? And I said, sure. You can have them on and just take them to the comic book store and see what you can get for them. So I definitely think she'll probably be into it. Probably not as much as I'd like her to be, which is fine. Like, she's a girl. Normally, girls are not into comic books. But if she wants to be, that's great. If she doesn't want to be, that's great too. So we'll see. But right now, she's definitely at the perfect age where she likes a lot of the same stuff as me. Like, we'll watch Power Rangers together. We'll watch The Flash together, which she likes as well because it has his daughter in it from the future. Spoiler alert. So she likes seeing girls do stuff. That's why she likes Batgirl. And we'll watch Superman and Lois together as well. So we'll see. We'll see. But if she is, cool. If not, that's cool too.
And then what about your wife? How's she with the whole hobby?
She read half of a comic book 5 years ago, has never read one since. And she does not watch my videos. So when I post new videos, like,
well, that could be a good thing.
It could be. Like, she'll watch the videos that she's in, or the videos that our daughter's in, of course, right? But every other video, no, she doesn't watch it. She doesn't watch any of it, which is fine because my sister has a YouTube channel, and for her daughter, and she'll always send us a link, and like, it's like once a week or twice a week. Hasn't been very much lately, but like sometimes, like, I'm like, okay, stop sending me the link. So I don't send out a link to anyone outside of the Berk fam when it's early. I don't send it out to any family members, any friends. I just post it and it's there. So if people want to watch it, they can watch it. If they don't want to watch it, that's fine too. But she doesn't watch any of my stuff. She doesn't read comic books. She doesn't care that I buy comic books in general, really, because we're still okay financially. So like, as long as we're doing good financially, She doesn't care. As long as I'm
As long
happy.
as you're not taking out a second mortgage on the house, she's
Exactly. Like right now, we're doing the best we've ever done in terms of financial, so she's fine. Like I told her, I bought that Flash 110, which was a couple $100. You know what I mean? And I'm a teacher, and she's a teacher, so I mean, we don't have. It's not like we're loaded. So like, but she wasn't. She didn't even care. So that was cool. So she supports me.
Now, does she watch the movies with you?
She watches the Superman and Lois show, and she with me every single episode. She loves that. We watch basically all the DC movies together. We went together to go see Shazam. We went to go see Aquaman. We've seen both Wonder Woman movies together. She doesn't really do the Marvel movies, which is fine because I'm not a big Marvel fan either. But she doesn't watch any of the Marvel shows. Like I've seen everything except for, I think I've seen every single Marvel movie. I think the only thing I haven't seen was Birds of Prey by DC. But if they're good, they're mainstream. Like she watched Justice League with me, and she actually did watch Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I think that was the last Marvel
Birds
movie.
of Prey is one of my favorite.
So is it worth the watch?
Oh, I think so. It's hilarious.
Okay, I'll give it a whirl then. I almost watched it today, so I'll probably give it a whirl tonight.
She, she might enjoy it too because it's kind of got that whole girl power vibe going on.
Is it good to watch with my kid or no?
No, definitely not kid friendly.
Okay.
It would fit more in with the Berk Nasty than the Berk family.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll see if she wants to watch it tonight. If not, I will watch it by myself. But yeah,
Highly recommend it.
She watches it with me for sure. And actually, she saw Iron Man #3 too. So she does watch some superhero movies and shows with me, just not all.
All right. Now, what about what about the rest of the family? You mentioned your brothers, into cards. Has a nice collection. Did you guys get that collecting bug from mom and dad, or?
So that's my brother-in-law that has that card.
Oh, brother-in-law. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. My sister and I collected sports cards as kids. She has an insane collection, like a bunch of Nolan Ryan cards, like a lot, and a whole bunch of really like older rookie cards. I don't even know what she did with them anymore, honestly. I don't even know what happened to my cards as a kid, but my sister and I, we collected cards big time. And the 90s were like when everyone was collecting cards, right? Everyone was collecting cards and comics back then.
Yeah, the junk wax era when there was a million of every card out there.
Yeah, and we all had 3-ring binders and all that. So my sister and I were into it. Obviously, my brother was into it. My brother-in-law was into it as a kid as well. But yeah, my sister and I collected those as kids. She doesn't read any comic books. She does watch my channel. I don't know which ones that she watches and doesn't watch, but she says she tries to watch them all, which I don't know how because I post like every day. So I don't know if she's being truthful or not, but if she is, cool. If not, that's cool too. But my mom tries to watch my channel too, not very often. But my family, for the most part, is pretty supportive of me in terms of the YouTube channel and the comic books, and they'll ask me questions about it. Actually, my stepsister, she is really into like wizardry stuff and like cosplay stuff. And I actually saw my stepsister. I didn't even know it. I saw her at a huge convention in Kansas City a couple years ago. And so she was just sitting there and I was like, hey, what's up? And so that was cool. But everyone else in my family, they could give 2 craps less. So everyone that does know about it, they're pretty supportive.
That's awesome. It makes life a lot easier.
It does make
more
it
enjoyable, anyways.
It does. It does. I like it when they ask me about it because then I get to talk about stuff that I like to talk about. So yeah, for sure.
No. All right. Well, are you ready for your half question that you're going to ask yourself?
Okay. All right. Let me write it down so I can read it correctly.
Okay. I can't tell if that's a Berk Nasty grin or a Berk family grin.
Both. Okay. All right, here we go. Here's my question. What would I do if 3 pink tortoises were on the plywood I was using to build my comic book shells? Because I actually need to make some comic book shells. And my answer would be, I'd be obviously really shocked because I've never seen pink tortoises, and especially 3 of them. But my daughter would be super happy because she loves all animals. Cats, she really loves cats. Dogs, turtles, birds, baby birds, rats, any sort of animal my daughter loves. So she'd be really happy to see those. I would be like, what the hell? What are they doing here? We have seen a turtle in our backyard before. And we put it in a little pool, like a kid's pool, and we left and we came back and it was gone. But we live just like, I don't know, like less than a quarter mile away from the river. So lots of deer down there, lots of turtles, lots of all sorts of animals. So
did it have anything carved into its shell?
No.
Did you look?
No, it was like yellow and brown on the shell.
Like a little box turtle?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of time. I mean, if you flip them over and look at their stomachs, they've got kids would carve their initials in them, and
really?
And it would just be there for forever. It grows with them as they grow.
I didn't see that. No, we didn't look. Whenever we see animals like that, like I try to tell my daughter to not mess with it too much because they're scared of us, and so like whenever we get close, arms and head would go under. But I don't know. We put it in the pool in our backyard, and I have no clue how it got out. No clue. But life finds a way. That's what they say in that. What's the name of that movie? Jurassic Park. So, love those movies.
All right. Well, you got anything for us in closing?
If you like Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles, comic books in general, check out my channel. DC. If you like DC, check out my channel. Check out Mark's channel too, Legion of Comics. I feel like him and I are DC stands for sure. Yeah, that's it. That's all I really got. I appreciate you having me. It was a lot of fun.
I don't know. This is on the what's the date again? On the 7th. You got anything you need to plug then? Or can you look that far into the future?
Just check out my Thursday night chat, comic book reviews. We review the books that week. I try to do daily content. If I'm lagging behind, it might only be 5 days a week. But some days I might upload twice. Some days it might just be one. Some days it might just be a shorts. But try to have a live stream or an uploaded video every single day of the week. So check it out. I will have a video out where to buy comic books online. And I've already done one of these before. This is going to be an update to it where I'm adding even more websites and places to buy comic books online. Because not everyone knows where to buy them. They're like, I only know like 2 or 3 places, eBay and Midtown or whatever. Well,
right.
I did a video a year ago and I got like 4,500 views. I want to do another one talking about 10 more places to buy comic books online that people may not know about. So that will be out definitely before the show. In fact, I'm hoping to have it out tomorrow. So also check out my weekly comic book collection update. I should have my Batman up there by then and my Flash. I may not have my Flash by then. I might do A to Z next and then do Batman and then do Flash. So I've already done number 1 was the sugar box and number 2 was the slab box. So make sure you guys check out the comic book collection update.
All right. Awesome. Well, I'll drop all your info down in the description. So everybody's got your links to IG and YouTube and whatever else you want me to link up.
I appreciate it.
And I'm really glad we finally got to hook up and get you on the show. Long overdue.
It has been long overdue for sure. I was excited to be on here, and this was a lot of fun. And that half question was pretty goofy, but I liked it.
You got to keep it light. Got to keep it light. Well, until next time, I'm Scott from Hoarder's Hide.
And I'm Steve from BerkFamily54Comics.
Let's hear your normal sign off.
Okay. And as always, go Cats, Cowabunga. And it's morphin' time.